you plugged your laptop into an Ethernet cable, it would fly. It would download so fast because it's so powerful. Most of the time it's a local connection situation. So your Wi-Fi is dependent on all the other Wi-Fi's like in your general area. So it's kind of like a parallel circuit where if one of them starts to go, it affects the rest of them.
It is. As UWNet is wont to do.
Yeah.
UWNet is the fucking worst. It crashes all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of like you have more juice going through the circuit, but
so it's like Wi-Fi on steroids.
Yeah. Well, no, with so many light bulbs, one of them is bound to get messed up in such a large system. But yeah.
All right. So today's agenda, what do we want to talk about?
I think we should talk World Cup.
We'll talk World Cup bid. We'll talk Champions League. We'll start with the World Cup bid. That seems like the most newsworthy thing. I was hoping Reed would say something funny here. That's why I started the broadcast. We'll do World Cup bid, then we'll do Champions League.
What else has happened?
What else has happened this week?
I have a...
Oh, and you've got a Fable.
Yeah, I have a script written for a Fable.
Dude, actually, what's it on?
It's about the corporate structure of Copa 90.
I like
did you know Copa 90 bought Kick?
Yeah, in 2015.
Yeah.
People I worked for Kick and Copa 90.
Yeah.
And Kick was MLS. Like, it wasn't like a separate entity. It was just MLS with a different brand. Oh, puppy. I love puppy. I love the baby. Look at all the blood.
I'm glad we got that on tape.
Fritz is cute as hell.
Get out of here. Calm down.
Your horny ass dog.
No, he just wants to play.
Boy.
Oh, good point.
Gee. All right. We're going live in.
Wait, we're starting World Cup?
We're going live in.
Ow.
Oh gosh, good. Hold on. Oh, just coughed up a fucking lung. All right, live in 5, 4, 3. Oh, fucking A.
God damn it.
5, 4, 3. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jack Kelly, host of Point to the Spot, a US-based podcast focused on the world of football. Joining me today, as always, is my entirely bonkers friend, Reed Hammond. Reed, how are you, sir?
Run it back. We gotta run it back. Also, I gotta put this dog outside. You had me muted.
Functional.
I think we should just run.
Functional per usual.
Just with all this. Well, I haven't read your fire thing yet.
Oh yeah, yeah, it came out.
I was gonna.
Eric Ronaldo's a funny looking dude.
And I didn't have breakfast.
Do you do your reading during breakfast normally?
A lot of times, yeah. Because that's when I used to read overnight state news.
Oh,
but now I don't have to read that shit anymore. So.
All right, 5, 4, 3. Reed, we muted you. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jack Kelly, host of Point to the Spot, a US-based podcast focused on the world of football. Joining me today, as always, is my entirely bonkers friend, Reed Hammond. Reed, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm really well. Thanks.
He's really well.
This is a first.
Really well. Also joining the show today is that third voice you may have heard, a future presidential candidate, Ball for Prez 2020, I can't stand Donald Trump's America, Andrew Ball. Andrew, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm good. It's going to be a busy day, but it involves traveling back to my actual residence this evening, so that'll be nice. But yeah, big weekend plans for you, sir?
Nope, I'm the only member of Point to the Spot not traveling back to their abode, so I'll be holding down the fort here.
I know. I get to see one Reed Hammond in the flight again. Reed, how excited are you?
I'm pretty excited. You won't see me tonight because I will be going drunk bowling back up in Milwaukee.
This sounds amazing.
You're welcome to come. There's also a bottle of Tito's that I have. I love a good bottle of Tito's. Also, with your name on it. Yeah.
Football.
So,
guys, perhaps the most newsworthy thing to come out of this week, of course, is the official bid from the United States, Mexico, and Canada to host the 2026 World Cup. Of course, it will be the first expanded version of the tournament. A few nitty-gritty details about it. Canada and Mexico will both be hosting 10 group stage matches, and the United States will be hosting the rest.
And all knockout stage matches.
Yeah, all knockout stages, the other 60 games that'll be played, including the knockout rounds, all the way through the final. They haven't announced venues yet, but obviously that seems a little premature as it's 9 years away. So what do you make of this bid, Andrew? Do you like kind of this triple bid, even though all three countries, or at least Mexico and the United States, could host the tournament without having to do any infrastructure building on their own? Do you think it makes sense to do the triple bid? What are your thoughts about this?
I think the triple bid is a good idea. You're right. I think that individually one of these countries could host it, but I think that by spreading out the investment that you would make in terms of things like infrastructure and spread it, these three countries as is will not really have to make any additional investments in things like public transit or in their stadiums, which I mean, like if you take Mexico or Canada, probably would have if they were going to host, some 80 matches just as is. Plus I think it you have the established power in Mexico. You have who hopefully will be an established power, the US, in 10 years. You have Canada, who's, I think, rising very fast, and interest in soccer in Canada is rising very fast. So I think in terms of a marketing standpoint, you got like three countries who are in very different places in terms of their soccer trajectory. So I think that's exciting as well. My only issue is I think the balance is a little off in terms of where you would like to see the matches played. I think there should be a semifinal in Canada and a semifinal in Mexico, and then you have the final, wherever. MetLife Stadium.
I disagree.
I think it's a triple bid. You should reflect that, I think, in the knockout stage.
Yeah, especially because both Mexico and Canada are expected to put up 12.5. Essentially, the two of them are supposed to combine for a quarter of all of the funds that will be necessary to do the World Cup,
while hosting well less than a quarter of the matches. But Reed, what's your take on why you don't like that? I'm curious.
Well, I would prefer to see like a Azteca final. You know what I mean? I would prefer the final to be in Mexico. And I don't think we need to prescribe like you get this. You know what I mean? I feel like that's too specific. I would love to see a final in Azteca. I just don't know if I just feel like it's weird to have a World Cup semifinal in like the Whitecap Stadium. It just feels weird.
Well, they did that for the Women's World Cup. That's where the final was, and they sold it out.
Yeah.
I don't see why that's an issue. I don't see why it's any different than having in Seattle Stadium.
And BC Place actually is a pretty dope atmosphere. It's very
brand new.
It's very
if you're gonna have it, I just think that a semifinal in the Azteca, a semifinal BC Place, and then the final in like Dallas at AT&T Stadium, which is, if you have it in Dallas, like there will probably be as many fans from South and Central America there as there are from the U.S.
I mean, AT&T can sit 110,000.
Yeah, and like Dallas is a transport hub for Central and South America. Like Texas, you have a lot of immigrants. I mean, I hear your point, Reed, and like I think it would be cool culturally. Like the Azteca is one of the biggest stadiums in the world, like soccer-specific stadiums in the world. But at the same time, like I think you can also kind of mirror some of the positives of having the final at a Mexican stadium by having it in the southwestern United States or in the Sun Belt.
In the end, I think it's going to be Coca-Cola deciding these venues. So, I think it's honestly, I like it. I like the idea. I like a triple bid. I do. If it was the same World Cup structure, I think to get a triple bid would be a bit of a stretch because that means three teams need automatic qualification. But if we're just going to let any goddamn team that wants to play go to the World Cup final, like a triple bid makes so much sense. Like honestly, the bids could go up to 5 at this point with so many teams. And I think
also like Mexico and the U.S. were going to make it anyway.
Yeah.
Canada in 10 years very well could be at this point where
They're definitely.
it's like not unreasonable to give them a bid.
Well, it's funny because right now,
It's not like you're giving Qatar.
Yeah.
The
Which
honor.
we did. Which is gonna happen. Like
it's
ugh.
fun. No, it's funny though. So there's rules about this, right? You have to be in the FIFA top 100 to get the automatic bid as the host nation. So right now, if the tournament was to be played this summer, Canada would not qualify because they're 105th in the FIFA rankings. So they'd have to
In 10
qualify.
years, they'll be well within
Oh no,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
But just kind of funny, right? That they wouldn't actually be qualified because they need to jump 5 more spots in the FIFA ranks.
They're
Other
bad at the moment.
Other interesting things about this tournament, though, of course, this will be the first World Cup in North America since 1994 when the United States last hosted it. And a couple of fun things about that. That 1994 World Cup in the United States that was not soccer crazy like it is now, or like it's going to be 10 years from now, was the highest attended World Cup of all time. I think it's going to be a very cool atmosphere in the triple bid.
Well, I think that what people, regardless of where the U.S. itself is in terms of soccer culture in 10 years, people forget that for international travel, setting aside visa issues, because that's a whole nother discussion, but like the U.S. in terms of getting here cheaply is probably the best country in the world for
Yeah.
that. You can get a cheap plane ticket from pretty much any major country that would be playing in the World Cup to the U.S. with one stop at most, So like,
And you can also fly into like 18 different international airports all across the country.
yeah. So like, I mean, I think that most Americans had no fucking idea the World Cup was going on in '94. But given how easy it is to get to the U.S., that's why you saw such good attendance. And I think that in 10 years, when soccer fans are more in tune, and we have a soccer culture, hopefully that rivals Mexico or European countries, I think the possibilities are the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think that this is also interesting because, there's only ever been one other double bid before. It was in 2002 when Japan and South Korea co-hosted the tournament. In kind of under weird circumstances. There was like construction issues with some of the South Korean stadiums, and so Japan just helped out because they already had the stadiums, is how my understanding of how it worked. It wasn't an originally planned bid. So I think it's interesting to have this triple bid. I think it sets a precedent for smaller countries. Obviously Mexico, the United States, Canada are not small countries, but like I think it's good because it sets a precedent that smaller countries, will be able to do things where they pair or partner up with several other countries, perhaps. Like this is like a, like something that we talked about with Nathan in our Caribbean podcast. Like I don't see it in the Caribbean, but like, you could have 6 Caribbean countries team up, and then you could have like World Cup 2034 Caribbean, and like then they could just play across the islands down there.
So a question for you guys. There is a loophole in FIFA bylaws that allows for a vote potentially by the end of this year to give the 2026 World Cup to the U.S., kind of circumventing normal procedures. Given how apologetic FIFA is for being corrupt and not giving the 2022 World Cup to the U.S., do you think that's going to happen? Because I think it's pretty strongly in FIFA's interest to give this World Cup, especially the first expanded World Cup, to the triple bid.
Yeah,
Plus, we all know how shady FIFA is.
It's been like, FIFA and US Soccer have been spewing like the announcement will be made in May of 2020. So I don't know. I think like regardless who else comes in, like this is the first bid for the tournament. I do believe nobody else has declared it. There's interest from other countries, but I don't see anybody beating them out for it, especially because like the United States is probably like the up and coming soccer country right now in the world compared to like developing first division that is like rapidly exponentially getting better each season that it's playing. So I don't know. I think that for FIFA's best interest, and if they want to make a lot of money, and let's be honest, that's all FIFA ever wants to do, not giving it to the United States would be idiotic. And why 2022 is in Qatar is beyond me, because they are going to literally just tank in that World Cup and lose so much money.
Reed, what say you?
I would say they would announce the U.S. like tomorrow if Loretta Lynch was still in power. But no, and I think more substantively than Qatar going out right away is that Qatar is building this World Cup on the backs of slaves. So Issues.
And it's also going to be like 120 degrees every game that they play.
And also people are being murdered, so we can play a game. So,
I mean, human rights violations by countries are not unusual.
I mean,
Brazil and
Brazil,
South Africa
yeah.
did some pretty shady stuff to build their stadiums, but
Yeah.
this is a whole new.
It's a whole new level of it.
Yeah.
Especially given like so much of Brazil's was like
Brazil's just so dumb, though.
renovating stadiums to make them look nice, even though they didn't do a very good job of that. Like Qatar is literally like, hey, let's build 13 new stadiums for this tournament.
A country the size of Connecticut.
that doesn't play soccer.
Yeah.
I know it seems silly to me. Well, guys, how about we take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk about an extremely eventful midweek of Champions League football, both on and off the pitch. Sound good? All right. So, guys, enjoy the music.
Hot takes on this Dortmund bus incident.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are
Yeah.
not. You're not in the minority about the they shouldn't have had to play this week.
If it was Real or Bayern and the bus was almost blown up, it would have.
There's some tasty Europa League fixtures.
That's why I was like, hey, can I watch the Europa League before we do this? And he said no.
I got Lyon over Besiktas though.
Yeah, well, fucking hell, of course.
I got Lyon winning it all.
I don't.
I had Roma. Sad.
Lyon
I think
versus
United's going to coast to the victory, which is not going to happen.
I mean, Ajax has to play Schalke.
Oh,
which
hold
is
on.
also
Let me
gonna
go
be
grab my
pretty
backpack.
Schalke suck, but they somehow played well in the Europa League.
They should not have beaten Mönchengladbach. That was heartbreaking for them.
Schalke is bad.
Schalke's not good.
That's a good way of putting it. Like, until recently, they were like 3 points above the drop. Wolfsburg are like 3 points above the drop, which is crazy. Bundesliga is fun.
FC Bayern München. Dude, Cristiano Ronaldo Bayern yesterday.
It's going to be a Real UV final.
And then,
Unless they draw each other.
no, Leicester's gonna win, right? Go through into the semis, and then Real, and then Real is gonna draw Juve, and Leicester is gonna draw Monaco or Dortmund. And then Leicester makes it to the final and gets battered like 5-0. It'd be fucking terrific. It literally would be hilarious. It would be one of the funniest things. All right, we're back in 5, 4, 3. Welcome back to part 2 of the show, everybody. Champions League football took place this week. Interesting fixtures, even more eventful off the pitch. Andrew, we'll go right to you to try and clarify some of these details with the Borussia Dortmund bus bombing and Mark Bartra and all of the above.
Yeah, well, so Tuesday, everything's normal. I'm getting off class, like, I'm going to watch Champions League. I go on Twitter, and it breaks that there was an explosive device planted next to the Dortmund bus that pretty severely took out the windows, shattered windows, had a whole bunch of shrapnel flying around, and Mark Bartra actually got hit in the forearm with shrapnel, broke something, I think. It's pretty serious.
His wrist.
Was it a wrist? Yeah. And had to go to the hospital, and they, of course, abandoned the match, as they should have, because it was an attempted murder attempt. That was not good English. We're going to edit that out. It was attempted murder on the Dortmund squad, which is, can't really play football after that. Some good things did, however, come out of it. Hashtag away beds for away fans. Dortmund / German people putting up Monaco fans who had come all that way and didn't want to pay for a hotel. So class for Dortmund, but and then they played the match Wednesday, which is a whole nother discussion, which we'll probably have soon. But that's kind of the bare facts of it.
Yeah. Other things that I've found out over the last couple of days that are interesting. Apparently, it's like a norm in UEFA that all of these buses have so the glass on these buses is supposed to be bulletproof, extra strength stuff mostly because when fans throw shit at the bus. And so somebody a few years ago made a really good decision to pay the extra few 1,000 euro to get this fancy glass put on the team bus and probably save some lives or at least some eardrums, which is pretty incredible. Reed, what do you make of? I mean, we saw it, of course, in the past with that friendly between Germany and France.
Well, and also people forget after that there was also, I think it was in Hanover, where there was a bomb scare. So this is not new to German football at all.
Yeah.
Even in Germany.
Reed, what do you make of this? Do you think that like UEFA teams or UEFA as a whole, like, was going to have to start requiring their leagues to have steeper security? I know, like, just for an example, Arsenal has already signed contracts to have like insane security at their matches next year, including like anti-aircraft stuff on the top of the Emirates.
Won't be an issue for them because they're not getting the Champions League. So.
True. But just like in general, do you think that clubs across Europe are going to have to start, taking higher security measures and doing stuff like this? Or what do you make of these attacks against, footballers?
I will say footballers they're almost hyper accessible sometimes. So I think we do kind of need to look at this with a little bit of a strong eye and make a couple decisions that will take the footballers farther away from the fans a little bit, but be worth it. Just onto the bus point, add some brevity or some little bit of lightheartedness to this rather somber situation. We can recall that United really benefited from blast-proof windows when they came to Upton Park for the last match of the season and were absolutely taken over on Green Street. Yeah, I think Dortmund are really hard done to have to play this match today, just because that's just not. Yeah, it's very not good. Andrew has a lot of very hot takes on this that I'd love to hear. But I don't know. It's very sad, very tough. But it's that beautiful bit of the footballing world that we saw beds for away fans, and especially losing 3-2. I think Dortmund fans should definitely just usurp going to the matches and just going beds for away fans just to kind of get some Monaco fans back. Beds for away fans, daughters.
We're gonna edit that part out.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit so much of what I said out.
One good thing that did come out of this, well, I mean, never a good thing, but Mark Barca took to Instagram, sharing a post of him with a thumbs up with the caption, "As you can see, I'm doing much better. Thank you, everybody, for all your support and your messages. All my strength to my teammates, supporters, and fans, and then to BVB for tonight's match." So obviously good to see Barca in, good spirits and that he is okay after such a terrible thing. So well, let's get to the play on the pitch. Or would you like to share your thoughts about them having to play?
Yeah,
first?
I think it's ridiculous they made them play, less than a day after someone tried to kill you. I mean, first off, psychologically, what you're unsettled. And I think you saw that in the match. It took them a half to really kind of get their bearings and settle in.
They were wide-eyed even during post-match interviews still.
Yeah, well, and Tuchel said, that if it was up to him, they wouldn't play it. And he knows his squad better than anyone. So, like, when he says that they were not in a good place mentally, like, I believe it. It's not an excuse. He said that before the match. But then also, like, Bartra would have started. And I feel like you can't overlook the fact that, not that he would have been fit necessarily for a game next week or even if they played it today, but, like, it would have given you more time tactically to figure out what you're going to do. And instead, they threw Sven Bender out there, and it was kind of a shit show. So, if it was Real or Bayern's bus that would have been attacked, I think they make a way to do whatever the manager wants. But I think that this was, Dortmund's just not a priority for UEFA.
Yeah. So run through the match very quickly. Of course, Monaco did win 3-2, which is potentially damaging to Dortmund because 3 away goals hurts anybody. Mbappe got it going in the 19th minute.
He was way offsides. That's
way offsides, but Wonder Kid just keeps going. The aforementioned Sven Bender with an own goal to put Monaco up 2-0 in the 35th. Dembele, of course, clawed one back in the 57th minute. 1-2. Everybody thought, maybe Dortmund has a chance in this. Then Mbappe struck again, kind of scoring with his, nether regions in the 79th minute, and then Shinji Kagawa answering 5 minutes later to make it 3-2. 84th minute. I mean, I am also in the boat that they should have at least waited until today to play. If not until today, until next week. I know there's lots of scheduling conflicts that's going on, but I mean, let's be honest. They're all adults, and they could have figured out how to do it. I think that they were hard done to play in this one. I think 3-2 is a harsh result because I think that, a full-strength Dortmund squad, not super flustered, is better than Monaco, and now they have a tall task to have to travel to the south of France next week because they're going to play again next week on Wednesday to try to, grab at least 2 goals, if not more, if they want to have any chances of making it into the final 4, especially when, they've been one of the better sides in the Champions League this year in terms of consistency.
It could have been such a fun series. I don't know. You wait a week, you have 2 young attacking teams going at it, and the match yesterday I just don't think really did what could have been a really great series justice. That's a shame. That's all UEFA in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, there were other matches that happened yesterday. Reed, we'll get your thoughts on this one. Real Madrid traveled to the aforementioned Bayern Munich, and Arturo Vidal got it going early, put Bayern up 1-0, and then Bayern got Cristiano Ronaldo'd. Of course, Ronaldo bagging a goal very early into the second half, just 2 minutes in. Javi Martinez getting himself double yellowed in the span of 3 minutes like an idiot, and then Cristiano Ronaldo bagging the winner in the 77th minute. 2 away goals, a 1-goal victory, like a 1-goal margin, going back to the Bernabeu. Do you see Bayern having a chance at getting past Real Madrid in, the second leg of this? Or do you think Madrid is just going to be too good like they've been for everybody all year?
Well, if anybody's going to claw it back, it's going to be Bayern. You really got to say they were kind of hard done because very good refereeing. I will say it was shockingly good refereeing. I thought it was one of the best of the round. Real Madrid just looked really poor for most of the match. It's that issue that they have so much quality on the pitch. It's just as great of a man manager and a team selector, I suppose, that Zizou is. There's no good tactical identity behind that team. And especially juxtaposed to that Bayern Munich side that is still playing with a lot of Pep's mentality. It was really weird to see Bayern play them almost off the pitch for so long and not come away with that. I really think some of the pains that they were feeling were due to it being a former Pep side. I don't think Javi is a center back. He's just a defensive-minded midfielder that Pep loved to play at center back because he had some feet on him. And you saw that because he made 2 really kind of dumb challenges that didn't need to happen, and he got 2 yellow cards, and he changed the whole game from that because he was bombing forward from center back, playing with the ball at his feet, and getting caught out. It's a lot of the same issues that we see with Luis Enrique with Javier Mascherano not being a center back, but since Pep played him at a center back for so long, the next manager is just following suit. So I think this is a little bit of a Pep hangover that really is starting to catch them out against really good opposition.
Agreed. Interesting take. Of course, these teams will return to action next week, Tuesday. You mentioned the good officiating in the Bayern Munich and the Real Madrid match. Well, I'm going to talk about the horrific officiating that occurred in the Atletico Madrid-Leicester City match. Of course, I myself do not love Leicester as a club, but am rooting for them because they are English and they are left in the Champions League. And oh my God, were they hard done yesterday. They did not play well at all. I mean, they only completed 70% of their passes. They had just barely more than 30% of the possession. No shots on goal. Only generated 5 shots. But, they deserved not to lose this match. It should have been 0-0. But Griezmann took...
They deserve to lose.
Yeah, but Griezmann took the ball the length of the pitch, and Albrighton very well knew what he was doing, trying to bring him down, and purposely tackled him outside of the box because he right away stood up and was, pointing outside the box, I tackled him because he was outside of the box. Referee gave a penalty. It was clear, like in the run-up play, I could see it from the weird, funky angle because it was on the far side of the pitch, that he was outside the box, and the referee gives a penalty. And I don't know. I think that, I mean, Griezmann, of course, then steps up and scores. He doesn't miss, but I think, 1-0 isn't a terrible result for Leicester. I mean, Athletics kept 18 clean sheets in their last 20 home matches, which is, in and of itself is an impressive feat. But I think that 0-0, based on what we saw yesterday, and if the match would have only changed in that one way, I think 0-0 would have been a fair result to Leicester, even though Atleti was fairly dominant.
I think Atleti deserved to win. Not like that, not in that manner, but they were very clearly the better side.
Oh, absolutely. But Leicester did their due diligence of just sitting back and defending, and they did a fairly decent job of it. Atleti didn't have too many super threatening chances, except of course the penalty spot. I mean, they were settling for a lot of long shots from around the box. That Kasper Schmeichel would have been drooling over the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of sympathy for Leicester.
I mean, neither do I. But
also, their fans didn't do them any favors either.
Yeah, absolute pigs, man.
Reed, would you like to add anything to this match?
Yeah, West Ham fans aren't known for being hospitable, to say the least, but we're far from xenophobic, and that's weirdly what we saw. Somehow, Leicester fans went over to Spain and made it weird and made it very kind of just uncomfortable for everyone who saw those videos of them in Spain throwing empty bottles at police, and slightly funny, but the way in which they said it was definitely not. You Spanish bastards, Gibraltar is ours, which if I read that, that's kind of funny, but when you say it in the context of being fat and white and creepily throwing bottles somewhere that you really don't belong, very disappointing. Very ruined that trip for a lot of fans, I'm sure.
Very, very similar to what you'll be doing this weekend, Reed.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, but I won't be like.
Are you talking Gibraltar politics?
Yeah, I'm gonna start singing. You'll get a lot of Snapchats from me singing that. Just be ready.
Anyways,
well, real quick, I want to make it clear. I don't want to like shit on Leicester. I do. It's a cute story, but at the same time, in the semifinals, I want to see the four most deserving teams, and I don't think Leicester is one of the four most deserving teams.
Yeah.
Really quick. Yeah. Mohammed Butt, not friend of the pod. Maybe we call him like role model of the pod. Squawker Writer had a tweet quoting that video of the Leicester fans, and he said the classic trope stands. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I think that's definitely what's happened with Leicester, that so much of like the world, like the narrative has so sharply gone against them since they sacked Ranieri that, man, it's just, that was poignant.
Anyways, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have another run.
Game.
Did we?
UV Barca.
Oh, sad. Reed, I don't think we're going to have time for your fable today.
That's fine. What do you mean? Like, it's going to be too long?
Yeah.
/ Jack has to leave in
Okay,
noon.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good, because I was
I don't know how we're going to make this transition happen.
What do you mean?
I'm just going to go with it anyway, guys. Let's touch on the last game of the
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be like, Jack, are we forgetting a game? And you're like, no, I didn't forget it.
No, I'm just going to cut out.
Let's do it.
Okay, whatever.
Jack, go for it.
Anyways, guys, should we take a quick break? I don't know where we're going.
No, Jack, just say on.
Fix it. Anyways, guys, let's go on to the last game in this match week for this Champions League. Juventus playing host to Barcelona and absolutely destroying them. A brace from Dybala in the first half, and then a Chiellini goal. Good week for Chiellini, getting his master's in business, and then picking up a goal against Barcelona in the Champions League. Andrew, do you peg Juventus to be the favorites to win the tournament?
So, like, the cool opinion is going to be like, oh, Barca did against PSG, they're going to come back. But Juve, I think, are much, much better side than PSG. more grizzled in their Champions League experience. I think tactically they're a much stronger side that is more potent playing Barcelona. So I don't see them folding like a house of cards like Paris did. I don't think it's a particularly – I don't think you can compare the teams and be like, oh, Barcelona doesn't come back. I think UV will take care of business and move on. And you kind of got peg them almost to win it all the way they've been playing.
No, they're my pick. Fun fact: Dybala also signed on until 2022 today, extending his contract. Reed, what do you think Barcelona comes back, or do you think Juventus wins this leg, and then how far do you see the second leg, and then how far do you see them going in the tournament?
Oh no, it's you got to think this ties over. Italians love if this was 1-0, I would tell you that this game's over because Italians love an away lead, or a home aggregate lead rather. You got to write this off. There's no it won't happen. It won't happen. The one thing that this match did make me think about, because there was outstanding performances from some of the elder statesmen, is that what are Juventus going to do for that defensive unit in the next 3 years, 2 years? Because as much as we love Buffon, he can only go on for so long before he just starts disintegrating because he's super old. He could be it's going to get to the point where he could literally be the grandfather of some players on his team. That's not that far away. He's extraordinary talent. And I think he's one of the best tactical and organizing goalkeepers in the world. But at some point, they're going to need to replace him. And it feels like they haven't done anything in that effect yet. And when you look at, Chiellini had a great game, and Barzagli is also kind of one of those older Italian defenders that's extraordinarily good, and he's extraordinarily good because he's an older Italian defender. But they're going to need to make moves in the transfer market to replace these guys very soon. And you just feel like no one's paid any attention to that, or at least we haven't seen any action to try to mitigate those risks, which will be very real very soon.
I think there's also, though, a deference to the fact that UV's track record in terms of scouting and transfers is quite good. I mean, they'll do what they always do and sign some kid from Palermo, for 5 million euros, turn into a world-class defender, and then sell him to England in 5 years for 80 million pounds or something,
Or get Sami Khedira for free.
Well,
yeah.
No. Their next goalkeeper is going to be that kid from Milan. They're going to snap him up as soon as they possibly can.
Yeah, but how much can you pay for a goalkeeper? Because AC Milan will not want to
sell
sell
an issue for Juventus.
I mean, they do some good business in the transfer market. They have some money to play with.
No, I just don't know. I don't know if Italy have the GDP to peel away that goalkeeper. Because why would Milan sell him? Because he's the natural heir, but why would he go? He's a homegrown kid, and he's probably still living with his mom. You know what I mean? Why would you want to leave? And plus,
I just always refer back to Milan being shit.
They are shit. They're shit. Anyways, we're gonna wrap. We're gonna call it a show, guys. We will return on Sunday. Talk about Premier League fixtures, and then hear me complain about Arsenal, even though they don't play until Monday. But before we go, you can find all of us on the social, as Reed likes to refer to it. Of course, Reed, where can they find you on Twitter?
They want you to read.
And Andrew?
At Andrew Ball, BAHL.
Of course, guys, you can find me at actual Jack Kelly. I am actually Jack Kelly after all. Don't forget to follow the show at Point to the Spot with the number 2. And follow our partners, American EPL Thoughts. You can check them out at American EPL on Twitter or online at AmericanEPLThoughts.com. If listening to us doesn't get it done for you, you can go read more in-depth analysis of pretty much everything that happens in the Premier League each week over on their site. But until then, have a great rest of the week and enjoy the Premier League this weekend. I know we will.